Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Brandon, and welcome back to Marotta Media. 2 videos in the span of a week? What's going on? Well, today's video is no ordinary video, because I am going to do something that I have never done before on this channel, or at least I don't think I have. I don't remember if I have, but I'm pretty sure I haven't. I am going to be reviewing an older movie, but not too much older, just a movie that's 10 years old. In fact, it just turned 10 years old a few days ago. And that movie is my favorite movie of all time, so I thought, what better time to review my favorite movie ever than its 10-year anniversary. And I'm sure a lot of my subscribers, my mutuals, my friends, my family, anybody who really knows me knows what my favorite movie of all time is. Whiplash. That's right, this movie was released 10 years ago this month. I truly cannot believe that it's been that long. It puts into perspective just how much time has passed, because I graduated from high school 10 years ago. I started college 10 years ago. Jesus Christ, I'm old. But to celebrate this movie's 10-year anniversary, it was re-released in theaters, and I went and saw it in theaters for the first time ever. You might be asking, why didn't I watch my favorite movie ever in theaters for the first time? Well, like I said, I just graduated high school, I was in college, I was just getting started working, I didn't have a lot of money. So I didn't have the means to go to the theater as much as I do now. So the first time I ever saw this movie was on my laptop, in my bedroom. I'm not kidding. But for the longest time, when people asked me what my favorite movie of all time was, I was never able to give a solid answer. I would only tell them a few movies that I really enjoyed. But I'm happy that has changed, and I can now tell people what my favorite movie of all time is with certainty. But if you've never seen Whiplash before, here's what this movie is about. We follow college student Andrew Neiman, who attends the fictional Schaefer Conservatory of Music. And Andrew has aspirations of being one of the greatest drummers of all time, and he can't get there unless he joins the school's studio band. And the studio band is led by the intense teacher Terrence Fletcher, played by J.K. Simmons. And when Andrew makes it to studio band, he realizes that his dreams might be a lot more than he bargained for. I'm so excited that I'm going to talk about my favorite movie ever, because this is all going to be positive. There's not going to be any negatives about this. Starting with the acting, because the acting by everybody in this movie is just brilliant, but there's really only 2 stars within this movie, that being Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons. Both of them are absolutely incredible, playing characters that are polar opposites of one another. Miles Teller plays a very scared and reserved college student very well, and I thought that this was a great introduction to him because this was the first movie that I ever saw him in. And I'm happy that he's gotten more attention in recent years with movies like Top Gun: Maverick. But J.K. Simmons truly steals the show in just about every scene that he is in. He is incredible, and I am very comfortable saying that this is one of the greatest acting performances ever put on film. His character of Fletcher is so intimidating, yet he's so hilarious. And he's hilarious through just the little jabs and insults that he says. Because they're so utterly ridiculous, you truly question how a human being thought of them.
And I am not going to have my reputation in that department tarnished by a bunch of fucking limp dick, sour note, flatter than their girlfriend's flexible tempo dipshits. Got it?
You got 10 minutes, you fucking pathetic pansy-ass fruit fuck.
You give a calculator to a fucking retard, he's gonna try to turn on a TV with it.
And J.K. Simmons even took home the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his performance in this movie, and boy, oh boy, did he deserve it. And I also need to mention one of the other accolades that this movie won, Best Editing, because it deserved that as well. The editing is superb. I'm a sucker for movies that have a huge emphasis on music and perfectly cutting to the beat of the music. But this movie is truly perfect when it's editing to the beat of the music. It is so on time. And as a drummer myself, it's very satisfying to watch. The coverage that we get of all the performances is also equally impressive. Damien Chazelle places the cameras in places that you wouldn't really imagine there to be one. We'll get close-ups of certain drums, Andrew's face as he's drumming, his hands, the sticks, the bass drum. There's even a camera angle toward the end of the movie where we get a bird's eye view of the drum set, so we're looking directly down at Andrew as he's drumming. I also can't say enough about the music in this movie and just how incredible and catchy it is. I'm not even a fan of jazz music, but Damien Chazelle has slowly converted me into a jazz fan with this movie, with La La Land, with Babylon. It's so much fun to listen to. I've hummed the songs in this movie to myself for 10 years, and I don't think that's ever going to stop. But I think what resonates most with me in Whiplash is this movie's overall message. I really jive with it, and I find it to be something that's absolutely true. We tend to reward people for putting an effort forward and trying something, even if they fail. And I mean, yes, effort is a great thing. If you don't put yourself out there and try something, you'll never know if you're truly good at it. But what this movie is saying is that even if someone puts the effort forward and they're absolutely terrible at it, we tend to reward them so we don't hurt their feelings. We don't push them to do a better job or be better at what they're doing. There's a great scene later on in the movie where Andrew and Fletcher are sitting at a table at a jazz club, and this scene lays out the entire message of the movie. But it feels so natural, but I think that's because this script is so good and J.K. Simmons just does a miraculous job selling it. This scene lays out what the whole movie is about, and we learn more about who Fletcher is and his motivations. And at this point, you really start to understand him and sympathize with him. While his methods might be extremely unorthodox, you understand why he's doing what he's doing. But seriously, just about everything about this movie I find to be absolutely perfect. The technical aspects are nothing short of immaculate. The cinematography is gorgeous. I love the way this movie is lit. If you've seen the movie, you will notice that there's a very heavy emphasis on warm lighting, especially when we're in the studio band classroom at Schaefer. The lighting is very orange and it just adds to the overall intensity of the scene. I've seen some people try to color correct those scenes to make them look more normal, but the orange really works. And this movie really just heightens your anxiety because it just continues to get more and more intense as it goes on. I couldn't imagine watching this movie in a theater in 2014 because if I did, I probably would have been squirming around in my seat because I was just so uncomfortable. But in a good way. That's exactly what Uncut Gems did to me a few years ago, and I think that movie is fantastic. But all the tension and anxiety leads to one of the best and most satisfying endings that I have ever seen. The ending to Whiplash is truly, without exaggeration, one of the best endings of all time. It was such a satisfying conclusion for both characters. Both Andrew and Fletcher achieved what they wanted. Now, I did say that I was only going to be positive in this review, but I always try to end it with the negatives. And if there was one thing in this movie that I could say was negative, is that occasionally the music does not match with the playing that we're seeing on screen. For example, right at the beginning of the movie when we're introduced to Andrew, Fletcher discovers him working on his technique and rudiments in a practice room. And when Andrew is playing, the drums that we hear don't quite match up with what we're seeing on screen. But it's by no means faked because Miles Teller is actually a drummer, so his abilities are very real. It was just something so minute. That is legitimately the only negative thing I could say about this movie. That is it, and that is such a nitpick. It is a very small complaint just compared to the overall greatness and legacy of this movie. As you can tell, I absolutely adore this movie. I love it so much. I could watch it over and over again and never get bored. I truly relish any time I can show this movie to someone new. And I have yet to show this movie to anyone who doesn't like it, although my friend who I saw it with in theaters said that the movie was just good, and that the ending lasted way too long. I'm debating if we should still be friends. But this should come as absolutely no surprise to anybody who watched this review, or if you know me. Overall, I'd give Whiplash a 10 out of 10. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching my review of my favorite movie of all time, Whiplash. If you guys have seen this movie, let me know what you think about it. How much do you love it? If you say that this movie sucks, you are lying to yourself. But if you're telling the truth, I truly think that you should get some professional help because I don't think that everything is right with you. But 2014 was a stacked year for movies. It's one of the best years for movies in recent memory, so tell me what your favorite movie from 2014 was. If you guys like this review, be sure to hit that thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe. If you want to see me review more movies that aren't new releases, please let me know. But if you want to see my previous reviews, I will link those right over here. Other than that, I hope you all have a tremendous rest of your day. I will see you all next time.